The Unplayable Podcast is proudly presented by Qantas, the official podcast partner and the official airline partner of Cricket Australia. Once again this season, Qantas is proud to be flying Australia's cricketers as they take on the world. Well, another gripping day of Test cricket here at the Gabba. Australia hold a 44-run lead. They've got 4 wickets in hand and, plenty to talk about from today's action at the Gabba. Josh Schonafinger here, joined again by Louis Cameron. And good news, Lou, this match is going into a third day.
That is good news. I'd say we're probably going to go into a fourth day as well. I'd be surprised if it didn't get there, although who knows with the pace that these games are played at. Frenetic pace, wasn't it? Like it has felt like ODI cricket the whole way through. Day one, day two, the way, the tactics. I mean, it felt like you need the fielding restrictions on at some point because England had, 4 or 5 fielders in the deep. Short ball tactics galore, drop catches galore, 4s and 6s galore. Weird kind of cricket, pink ball cricket at the Gabba.
It is, yeah. Australia's run rate for the innings so far, 5.18. They were going at 6.19 in that first session when Head and Weatherald and then Marnus Labuschagne were going really well. But they've taken themselves to 6 for 378. Everybody got a start, pretty much. There's 3 scores of 50 plus, a couple in the 40s, and Alex Carey's now 46 not out at stumps with Michael Neester on 15 not out. Jake Weatherald said after the match that, I think the batting group were disappointed that none of them could go on and make that 100. But so far, he's the top score with 72 from 78, and wasn't he great to watch today?
He was fantastic. I mean, it does kind of tell the story a little bit of Australia in recent times. Their batting, they've been a very successful Test team. That should be the first thing we should say.
Yep.
The next thing I'd say is their batting has never been great in that period. They've always just done enough, and they've had elite fast bowling and an elite spinner as well. Who have just gone to work and gotten them out of trouble and kind of won games for them. Again, we've got a good but not great batting day for Australia, especially given how poor England started with the ball.
Yeah.
I thought they came back pretty well in the day, but here was a real chance for one of Weatherald, Labuschagne, Smith, particularly Green, maybe even Inglis to go on and make a big score. We can excuse Jake because he's playing in his second game and he's a really exciting prospect.
And he got a pretty good ball, to be fair.
He got a very good ball and a guy who can just crank it up at his pad. So, a bit to dissect in terms of the batting. Do you want to start with Jake?
Let's start with Jake. Before we get to that, you touch on England's bowling. Stuart Broad called it erratic. Ricky Ponting called it rubbish. So that sort of gives you a bit of...
It says a lot about those two commentators, doesn't it?
That sort of gives you a bit of an indication what was happening there with short, wide things, over-pitch deliveries. And eventually England sort of got it right towards the end of the day. But in that first session especially, there were boundaries galore. And Jake Weatherald especially cashed in that famous cut shot that he's come from the Travis Head school of cut shots, hasn't he? So strong through that area. And then also a 6 with an uppercut over third man. He said to ABC after the game, it's the first time he's ever played a shot like that, and it came off pretty well. Yeah,
it did. And I'd love to talk about Jake, but maybe starting with just England's bowling. It's hard to tell if they mixed up their tactics or they mixed up their execution early because they were all over the shop early, and even when they went to the short ball ploy, it just which they went to very early, it just didn't really work for them. And then as their bowling got better in the day, their fielding got worse. So that was kind of they could just never really get ahead of it. Interesting stat from CricViz that I saw doing the rounds. England quicks. This was during last session, so it might need to be updated. But they'd taken 3 for 33 at 11 with deliveries that would have hit the stumps, and 3 for almost 300 at 99 with deliveries that wouldn't have hit the stumps. I don't think it's quite as simple as you just bowl at the stumps and that's how you get Test wickets. It's never that simple. If you did that, you'd go for a lot of runs. But I think they misread the conditions a little bit, and I think you're playing a double-edged game in pink ball cricket here, because if you do bowl your normal stuff outside off stump, 4th, 5th stump, the odd ball at the stumps, you probably can... teams can score pretty quickly, and that's what Australia did do off the bat. But I think this pitch does have quite a bit in it at certain times.
Yeah.
And if you pitch it up, stand up the seam, you're a chance of nicking guys off and getting balls to dart back off the pitch. I mean, Josh Inglis, he got bowled by one from Ben Stokes. Just trying to look, that was in the 64th over of the game. So that's a 64 overall ball, albeit they did change the ball at one point. But it's an older ball, so there is some merit, I think, in just bowling some normal stuff. But Weatherald and Head, they've just kind of stumbled upon something pretty good now. Like we've seen 2 partnerships over 75 in 2 innings in a row. The last time Australia had that in Test cricket was when Warner was opening the batting. You know, Australia have been crying out for an aggressive batter to bat with Usman Khawaja, and they've kind of stumbled across 2 openers who are aggressive. Neither of whom are batting with Usman Khawaja, and kind of a funny spot there. But Jake was kind of the one who took the aggressive option. He was the aggressor, and Travis was kind of really, really struggling early, to be honest. And just looks like they got a really good dynamic going. They go way back, those 2.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. The synergy is there. How important do you think it is for opening partners? Obviously, Hayden and Lang were super tight. Warner and Khawaja were super tight. And those 2 have been a couple of the most successful pairs Australia have had in a long time. Now these 2 know each other. They go back way back as well, even I think to the school cricket days, Lou. So how important is it to know your opening partner well, do you reckon?
That's right. When you're listening to this, you'll be able to read a piece on cricket.com.au that kind of leads with an anecdote about how the first time they played against each other was a school game. Jake made 124, and then Travis Head also made 100 in the same game, playing for Trinity against Prince Alfred College. So they go right back. Jake has spoken a lot about how much he admires Travis Head as a left-handed batter who just kind of goes after it. Obviously, Trav's never been a red ball opener, but I think Jake has based his game a little bit around what Trav does, albeit with some slightly moving parts. One of the most interesting things I thought from Jake Weatherald's press conference was him talking about, yes, I'm an aggressive batter and I like to score and I know my scoring zones, but one of the most important things for me earlier is leaving the ball really well and defending well, but particularly leaving. Like he wants to, when that ball is in a dangerous spot, he wants to be getting his bat right out of the way. So he felt like he did that really well today. And, then he's ended up scoring, 72 off 78 balls. So none of these guys have any issues with the scoring rate at any point.
Yeah, it's funny you say the leaving stuff. We touched on Crawley yesterday. That was sort of an improvement for him. But then you've got Ben Duckett, who famously doesn't leave the ball. A lot of ex-great Test cricketers say you have to leave well in Australia to do well. I'm going to be watching Duckett very closely this series, because if he sticks up with the no-leaving sort of tactic, how will that affect his game going forward? Yeah,
I think so, and I'd like to see the stats. I feel like I have seen him leave 1 or 2. He's obviously...
one or two.
1 or 2, yeah. It might literally be 1 or 2. He does score a lot of runs behind third man through width, so he's a really good player. I would be surprised if he doesn't do well in this series. He didn't have a great day today, did he? 2 drop catches, and might be a segue. I do want to talk about the rest of the Aussie batting, but it might be a segue into England's pretty poor fielding today.
Well, yes. Before we go to the bad fielding, let's start with the really good fielding.
Yes.
Because that's good. It's a Liquorland cheers to that moment for me, Lou. Will Jacks. Well, let's start with Marnus Labuschagne, because Marnus took a great catch to finish off the England innings, running in at deep backward square leg, full stretch dive. If you'd give it 9 out of 10, I'd say maybe 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, looked a bit weird from where we were sitting. We thought the ball had kind of dropped out because it was a bit of a double motion. Out of 10, I'm giving it an 8 or a 9, 8.5, I'd say.
Okay. But I think Will Jacks outdid him in the final session to get rid of Steve Smith. It was a dive that he sort of put both his hands up. The ball only went into one, and then to me it sort of looked like the dive you do over a ball when you're pretending you can get the ball, but you can't actually get it. Well, Jack's got it. He put in the commando roll, and everybody was stunned because it didn't look like he was a chance, and he's pulled off one of the great catches we've seen in recent times.
Yeah, and you were watching Ben Stokes after he took it. What did he do?
So Stokes was at mid-on, and Stokes was so wrapped with the catch that he threw his English cap in the air, tossed it away as if he was graduating from high school or something. So that was great to see that Stokes was so happy for his mate, but that was a catch that I could just watch on replay again and again.
Yeah, and again, this one kind of happened right on the other side of the ground, and at first I thought he'd taken it like backhand panther with his left hand, because that was kind of the hand that we could kind of see doing the moving, but actually it was his right hand. A spectacular moment, and it's it's about the only good fielding bit from England today, because Yeah, they had a shocker, really catching. Do you want me to go through it blow by blow?
Well, let's do it. Yep, let's do it. 5 catches, I think, overall, wasn't it?
Yeah, 5 catches. So Travis Head on 3 by Jamie Smith. That was probably the easiest of the day. It only cost him 30 runs in the end, but that was a real sitter for the English wicketkeeper. Carey first ball by Duckett. I mean, that was pretty simple too. Duckett did have to kind of dive forward, and that looked like maybe one where he didn't pick it up quite as quickly as he would have with a red ball. But that came in a really good Brisbane Test spell. He bounced back really well from a lot of tap earlier. He took 2 wickets in the over. That might have been a third. Duckett then dropped Inglis again on 21. Carse dropped Nisa on 6 when he was fielding it mid-wicket. And then Joe Root dropped Carey on 25 when he was standing way too wide at first slip off Carey, the left-hander, with Atkinson bowling around the wicket. Sometimes guys, right-armers bowling around the wicket to lefties can kind of throw your slips, Gordon. They don't quite know where to stand, but Joe wasn't standing in the right spot.
No, it didn't look like it. The ball raced away for 4. Both Joe Root and then Jake Weatherald said after the game that it is tough to see the ball here. We've got these iconic multicoloured seats that we're sitting on, of course, plus the crowd, plus the pink ball, which they're not used to playing with, plus the lights. I mean, it is a tough situation, but Australia's record fielding under lights with the ball has been pretty strong, I'd say, across the years. England, I guess it's an unusual situation for them. Yeah,
it is. It's a good point. I get the sense, just thinking back, I don't think the Aussies got quite as many square of the wicket catches, whereas the England just seemed to get a lot today. Joe Root had a really good, an impassioned defence, I would say, of their preparation. He said they've done 5 days of training. They fielded in the twilight, they fielded in the day, they fielded at night, they caught in different positions, and ultimately it's just quite difficult. And even Jake Weatherald acknowledged it when he got asked about it. You go back to the pink ball game. I know it's a boring subject, but the Prime Minister's 11 game, could some of those guys have gone and played in a game where and would that have helped? Maybe not, because you're playing at a different ground, certainly not as hot. They probably would have been wearing jumpers in Canberra, and I think fielding in the heat here is really different, so I'm not sure it would have made that much of a difference.
But I mean, at the end of the day, we said on day one how good Australia's fielding was, both with the run out and the catches, and then we're saying how bad England's was today. So will it be a key component? I mean, I guess with the other one, with the Jacks catch, when you're weighing up whether to play him or Shoaib Bashir, Bashir's not taking that catch, is he? Jacks is a far superior fielder and batter, so he offers a lot. We haven't seen him bowl, just the one over, which I think went for 13 runs or something, but certainly I think he brings more to the table than their other off-spinner. Yeah,
and it probably, having the extra batting probably helps, and a better fielder. I feel it's really harsh on Shoaib Bashir. I feel like the last memory I have of him fielding was him fielding with a broken finger at, I can't remember which ground, but it was during that India series earlier this year. And that guy just absolutely fair play to him, showed so much courage bowling and batting and fielding through a really badly fractured finger. I'd love to see Shoaib Bashir play a game in this series, but
you're a big fan, aren't you?
I just would like to see him. I think I really like how they've just stuck with one spinner, a little bit like Zach Crawley in some senses. They've gone, we actually rate you, we think you're the best player, this is the tool we want to get you to. And we're going to play you through thick and thin. Stokes, I think, from what I've seen, has captained him really well and really tried to give him some confidence in the games I've seen. I didn't expect to be going on a 1-minute Shoaib Bashir rant here, Josh, but here we are. But yeah, then you kind of do all that work and then you don't pick him. I can understand the reasons, but I'd still like to see him at some point.
One player who we did see for the first time this match was Steve Smith with the eye strips. Now, he made his debut with these Shiv Chanderpaul style glare reduction devices underneath his eyes, and worked pretty well for him. 61 off 85. Looked pretty much untroubled until his wicket, which was that Will Jack's catch. I think they might be here to stay for the pink ball matches, I'd say, with Smithy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, did Shidnaran wear them in day test matches, or did he only wear them in day-night ODIs?
Good question, yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'd like to see him wear them all the time. It looks cool. It looks really cool. Was he wearing them correctly? Do we know?
Well, he has previously worn them upside down, hasn't he? But
upside down or inside out? Why does it matter which? Because they're kind of just square strips, aren't they?
I don't know, maybe they curve or something. But I assume if they're back to front, the sticky side would be on one side.
That's true. That would make them more glary.
Yes.
And they'd fall off.
I did manage to have a quick chat to Cameron Green in the lead into the game, and I just said, look, where are your ice strips? Are you going to wear them as well? And he said, mate, to pull them off, you'd have to have 10,000 test runs or be a cool West Indian, and I'm neither of those. So fair play to Cam. Well, I don't think we'll see him with them on this series.
Good segue into Cam, because he's someone who I think could make 10,000 test runs, but and gee, he looked like $1 million when he was batting today. And then
some of those drives.
Oh, sumptuous. And England came out with a plan. I don't know if we saw that one in the first test. I don't know if he batted for long enough to have seen it, but 2 catching covers, looked like they wanted to tempt him outside off stump to drive on the up through the offside. There were a couple of times where he just smoked the ball straight through him, through the 2 short covers, and hadn't put a foot wrong. And backing away from a Bryden Carse ball, Carse kind of bluffed him, I suppose, after a lot of balls where he followed him with some short stuff, and stumps were everywhere. So Cam did score a lot of runs doing exactly what he had done. I think that's probably the first thing we should point out. Carse especially, but maybe some of their other bowlers too, were just going at him with short balls. And I think it was a mid-off, but no one else in front of point on the offside. So he was just backing away and trying to flame through cover. He got a couple of boundaries that way, and I reckon he might have even got one the ball or two before, and then third ball Carse goes at the stumps. It was probably predictable that he was going to try it at one point, and made him look silly, like when you end up like that. So a shame he went out like that. Like, people are going to go, come on, like, I mean, it's not just him, like, but that whole top order, it's like. There was some big runs to be had today, and they could have been in a position where, instead of 6 for 3, 7, 8 at stumps, you could be 3 or 4 for 400 and looking at making 600. You then get a big shot at batting during the day tomorrow against really tired bowlers, and you could win this thing by an innings. They're ahead in the game, but England aren't out of it by any stretch. Yeah,
you touched on Carse. It was a good comeback for him. We were checking the stats throughout that innings. He was on track to become the most expensive English test bowler ever. He was going at over 8s, but to be fair to him, he came back with Stokes in an hour-long tandem sort of spell. They bowled 11 overs together and they took 3 for 47. So, that's sort of wrestled England back into the game. We've seen Stokes do it with the ball quite a bit. But, Lou, my question to you is, 20 overs under the belt for Jofra Archer. It doesn't look like he's at 100% out there at the end of the day, at least. How do you think this is going to affect him for the rest of the series? Yeah, I mean, you could really see him starting spells today, and he was really sore. Coming back into that night session, his pace was in the 120s, and you could see it's just a struggle to get going. He, as much work as he probably has done leading into the series, he just doesn't have the conditioning of a lot of long form cricket behind him over the last year or two. It's going to be a real challenge for him to get through 5 tests. But yeah, on the positive side of things, Carse, I really rated how he just kept fronting up today. He's not choosing to bowl this short stuff. These are pre-designated plans that they're using, because this pink ball just can't hold up on this Gabba surface. I think these first 2 days has proved that objectively this is not the best place to play pink ball cricket. There aren't many places, there really is only one place that pink ball cricket has really worked. It's Adelaide Oval, and that is overwhelming the feedback you get from the players who play in it. So we're playing a bit of a weird ODI kind of test kind of thing, and so a guy like Bryden Carse just has to be the one to thump it into the turf. He came back really well, got those 2 wickets in the over. I thought Ben Stokes as well did a really good job, but he was all over the shop early on, and then he bowled some much better stuff later on, as you pointed out in that not a game turning spell, but something that's kind of kept them in the contest. Yeah, so Australia hold a 44-run lead heading into day 3. Lou, I want to give you an update on the BBL grid game, which we spoke about during the first test. Today, my rarity score was 37.7. Pretty good. Not the best I've had, but... That's out of 100, right? I think it's out of 100, yeah. So it could be a lot lower. Yeah. But my best... You want a lower score, not a high score. You want the lowest score you can get. You want to pick the most niche, the most rare So players. 0 would be like... a perfect Jake score. Haberfield or something. That's right. Yeah. So download the Big Bash app. You can play this game in their game section. My most unique player today, Lou, wait for this one. You had to combine an Alex Carey teammate with an Adelaide Strikers player. So, there's a lot of overlap there. I went with George Garton, the England all-rounder. Okay.
Okay, that's down there on the niche scale, or up there. I'm not sure which direction.
0.3%, so pretty happy with that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Oh, I mean, that's the beauty of the game, is like that is objectively a very easy clue, but the multitude and the possibilities of what you could achieve with something very simple is very exciting. And I look forward to playing some Big Bash grid game, because it is a lot of good fun. I absolutely chewed through it. When they sent me the demos for this, I did like 10 in like an hour.
Yeah.
And so I've just cooled off for a little bit.
Sure.
Got an addictive personality, and I just know that if I started, I probably wouldn't get any work done this test. But as soon as this test wraps up, I'm going to be on like Donkey Kong on Big Bash Gridley.
Love it. Listeners, send us in your rarity scores and your best picks from the BBL grid game. This has been the Unplayable Podcast from the Brisbane Test match. We'll catch you for day 3.